Hello guys, I'm Dr. Hades, and in this video I will talk about Fiddlesticks and how to play him jungle. He's one of the best jungles right now in patch 10.12. We will talk about the abilities that he has, the build that you should build on him, the runes that you should use, and some tips and tricks. But first, let's roll the intro.
It's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
So the first ability that we should talk about is his passive, a harmless scarecrow. Fiddlestick's trinket is replaced by a scarecrow effigies. Effigies gain power as Fiddlesticks levels, reducing their cooldown and increasing their duration. Level 6 effigies will reveal any nearby words for 6 seconds on placement. These effigies are like a word for Fiddlesticks, but after level 6 they are like control words. They will disable the words of the enemy team for 6 seconds after the placement of the effigy. But if Fiddlesticks pose like an effigy, if you stay still for 2 seconds, he poses like an effigy, and for the enemy team, they will not know that this is the real Fiddlesticks. They might think this is an effigy because your health bar will not show. So they have to check. If we go to the second ability, as a passive, while unseen and out of combat or posing as an effigy, damaging an enemy with a spell terrifies them for 1 second. When the ability is level 1, you fear them for just 1 second, but as it goes on, you level it up, you will get, I think, up to 3 seconds of fear, which is a lot of crowd control, especially late game. If you disable somebody for 3 seconds, like they might be done. So as an active, this terrifies a target for 1 second and deals 6% plus 1% per 50 AP of the target's current health, minimum 40 as magic damage. If the target has recently been terrified, instead deal 12% plus 2% per 50 AP of the target's current health, minimum 80 as damage. So now his Q is doing damage too. So it is like point and click. Let's put a point there, and it's a point and click fear, see? But after your cooldown goes off, so I used fear on this scuttler, and now I'll fear him again. See, I didn't fear him this time because, as this active says, if the target has recently been terrified, it deals double the damage. So now if I fear him again, he gets feared, and now he just gets damage, and now damage. Yeah, I don't know how many seconds between 2 fears, but probably like it's like 2 cooldowns, most probably. But his most powerful ability is Bountiful Harvest. Drains the souls of the nearby enemies, dealing 60 magic damage per second over 2 seconds, plus 12% of their missing health on the final instance of damage. So in the last moment you do damage with this ability, you do 12% of their missing health, so if they are low, you do more damage. Fiddlesticks heals for 30% of the damage dealt before mitigation, reduced to 25 versus minions. So you're getting healed with the damage you're doing, but you get less heal from the minions. But 30% of the damage dealt is a lot, and I think this stacks up. The damage you deal stacks up with the level that you put in. On a complete channel, or if nothing remains to be harvested, refund 60% of the remaining cooldown. So this is an important thing. Let me get some level up. Let me disable the cooldown. So if I drain from him and he gets out of range, or it finishes to channel, I get a 3 seconds cooldown. But now if I move, I get a 7 seconds cooldown. So If you misclick or you just stop your channeling, your cooldown is higher, so you have to focus to use your ability really good, because especially when you're in the jungle farming in the early game, if you misclick, it can cost you a lot. So see, I get a 3 seconds cooldown. Let's talk next about the next ability, which is Reap. Unleash dark magic at the target position, dealing 70 magic damage to and slowing enemies hit by 30% for 1.25 seconds in a crescent-shaped area. Enemies in the center of the crescent are silenced for the duration as well as slowed. So, enemies which are in all this big area, let me stop the... So, the big, let's say, shape, they are slowed. In the sake, if you get the enemy team in the circle, in the middle of this big shape, they get silenced too. So I get him slowed, but now I get him silenced. See, if I get him outside the circle, I missed him. Okay, if I get him outside the circle, I get him slowed, but if I get him inside the circle, I get him slowed and silenced. But this time I got him feared too. Why? Because of my Q. It says here, as a passive, while unseen and out of combat or posing as an effigy, damaging an enemy with a spell terrifies them for 1 second. So when this Cutler didn't see me, or I pose like an effigy and use an ability, he will get feared. This applies to champions, to minions, and even to the monsters in the jungle. For this part, let's talk about the ultimate, which is probably the most powerful ability of Fiddlesticks. The ultimate is called Crown Storm and has at start a 126 cooldown seconds cooldown, which is 2 minutes. Channel for 1.5 seconds, then blink to the target point, unleashing a murder of crowns, dealing 125 magic damage per second to all enemy units in the area. The effect lasts for 5 seconds, dealing up to 625 total magic damage. So it's a lot of damage, and it's AoE damage, and if you get all the enemy 5 champions in it, they get all of them get 625 damage, which gets a lot higher when you get to level 16 and put the 3 points in your ultimate. But let's talk about why this ability is that powerful. Because using the passive from your Q, while unseen and out of combat or posing as an effigy, damaging an enemy with a spell terrifies them for 1 second. So, if you see here, so now let's talk when to cast your ultimate and how to cast it. Like, you need 1.5 seconds to channel it, okay? But if you are unseen when you channel it for the enemy team, you get them feared. How do you know which of the enemy champions will get feared before you channel your ultimate? When you channel it, there will be some scarecrows up their head, and which will which tells you that the enemy champions will get feared. But if I cast my ability from one point in which the enemy team sees me, see, they don't get feared, they don't get the scarecrows up their head. They just get the damage from the ultimate. This, as its passive says, you can use any ability to fear them. So I'm in the bush, I will use my W, they got feared because they didn't see me even for 1 second. So if the enemy team doesn't see you for 1 second and you use an ability to them, you get them feared. Okay, so this is really strong. So you use your E. See, I stayed in the bush just for 1 second and they just started to don't see me. But if I pose an effigy, and then I use my ability, see, I fear them again. Because the passive says is if I'm unseen and out of combat or posing as an effigy, I will terrify the enemy when I do any ability. So like this, when I channel, this time they saw me. So you cannot use your ultimate to terrify enemies when you are in effigy, as an effigy, because the effigy doesn't channel its ultimate, so they will it will count as a seen fiddlesticks before using an ability. So now that we talk about what the ability of fiddlesticks do, let's talk about how to put points in it, which ability to max first, second and third. So at level 1 you should put 1 point in W, which will help you clear the jungle and staying at the big health bar. After that, when you level up, I usually put an ability on E, but before that I would have started with Q. But it depends on you, like you should try both and see which work better. Like right now I use E first. After that, at level 3, because I don't gank usually until level 4, only if I see a really good opportunity to gank, I put another point in W. After that, at level 4, at level 3, I get, like with level 2 points in W, I get a better sustain in the jungle. And at level 4 I just put another point in the ability, my first point in the ability that I didn't put anything in. So if you start E, you will put a point in Q, if you start Q, you will put a point in E. At level 5 you just get 3 points in your W, and at level 6 you get your point in your ultimate, of course. And at this moment you have like you're probably the strongest champions on the map. Like right now you should definitely go for a gank. Until now you're pretty weak, but you can gank at level 4. But you should gank from in front. Yeah, okay, so at this point you are probably the strongest champion on the map, so you should search for a gank and force a gank, because probably you will get a kill if you get them feared. At level 7 you just now you should just max your W, but as a second ability to max you should max Q, because you saw before I had 1 second to fear, now it fears for 1.25 seconds. So the fear lasts longer as points get as you get more points in your Q. After that you just max your W, and then as I said you get a second max your Q. So at level 11 you get 2 points in R, and then you just max your Q, and after that you max your E. At 16 of course you get a point in R, and then just finishing putting points in E. So this is the way I do it, this is the way challenger players do it. I think this is the best way. You should put points in your abilities, but if you know other ways, please let me know in the comment section. Okay, so we talk about abilities, how to put points in them, and now let's see how to clear the jungle. So you're level 1, you put a point in W, and there are 2 ways to start the game. You start at wolves or you start at red. 2 ways. I usually start at wolves, so I will do this first. I will do both of the clearings. So I spawned all the, and let's go. So here you have to use W, and when your W is in cooldown you should auto attack the wolf. I usually don't use smite here, but I kite him outside the box. So I put another point in W, and here you have a big chance to do frog and blue in the same time. But here I usually use one of my potions from the refillable potion, and I usually silence the frog because it does more damage. Yeah, and I smite the frog. This is how I usually do it. And if I don't see any gank possible, I just put another point in my W, because I'm not gonna gank until level 4. So right now I'm gonna go and use my E on red, hit a bird, and just come here. And see, in this point I can do both of them in the same time. You see this line, you have to stay just a little bit in front of it in order to don't get them back to their camp. So now it's usually around minute 3. You don't have to take my cooldown. And I start to come here because it's minute 3, and I should put some effigies around and prepare for the scuttler. After I do the scuttler, I'll see again if I have a chance to gank, as I'm level 4. If not, I will just go down and do my Krugs. But it depends, sometimes I just move on and do the second scuttler, so it's up to you and it depends on the case. But usually before minute 4 I finish to clear all my jungle and one of the scuttlers. Okay, so this is the first way you can clear the jungle. The second way to clear the jungle is to start at red and do birds in the same time. So you put again an ability on W. I usually don't use this this way because sometimes it happens to refresh the camps because you don't kite them well, and you just get behind. So it's more safe to do it at blue side. Let me spawn all the neutral camps again. Okay, so here I just hit the red and then hit a bird, come back here, and you see how I fucked it up. Yeah, so see how it is to and now it's really hard for me because I'm really low. I will have to use my smite. So I finished. It was not a problem, but I lost a lot of seconds there. Let me reset and get another try. Okay, so you see how easy it is to get it wrong on the red. It's a little bit harder. You have to practice to see which is the line on which you should stay. But I don't usually start at red. Like, I never start at red. Let me spawn the... And let me get a hit here. And a hit here. Yeah, now I'm good. Okay. But that bird got resetted. But that's not a problem. The thing is, here you don't get level 3 until you do blue, which is pretty bad, because if you get counter ganked at blue or something like that, let's say it happens, then I think that's bad for you, because you don't have any ability, your W has only 1 point. It's pretty hard to play. Because as I do it, like from the blue side first, you get level 3 once you finish the wolves. So it's a lot better. Like, you do 3 camps, you get level 3. If you start at red, you do 3 camps and you're still level 2. Yeah. Okay, I should have smited it. I usually smite the bird here, but I don't know. Yeah. So it's, in my opinion, it's a lot better to start at blue, but if you want, you can start at red and do it like this. I usually do the scuttler afterwards and get level 4 and gank. So now let's talk about ganks. Once you're level 6, I told you you should look for ganks. So when the enemy top laner is pushing and your teammate is under tower, you can have the choice to gank from here. But you will ask me right now, how can I do that? Because Fiddlesticks doesn't have so much channel distance. But it does. If you channel it right here, see? It will get to jump till here, which is pretty far. But if I go back and channel it right, like in a place that I can, it will just jump till here. So see how far I am from him, and I channel it from the same distance. So the best position to gank from top, because he will not expect it, or if they played a lot of against Fiddlestick, they will expect it, but I don't think on low elo they will expect that. So you just have to channel your ultimate here and he will get feared. You get exactly near him, you do your combo and he's dead. Trust me, like probably the enemy, your teammate doesn't even have to help you, but they usually do, so if you ping them. Okay, so let's get to another moment when they play here in the middle. Let me put 2 dummies. Let's say one here. Yeah, they're farming. Okay, and let's say they don't have a word, so you stay here because the minions will not see you, and you just channel your ultimate and you will get him feared, and again if you signal your teammate he will help you and he will be immediately killed. Okay, now that we talked about top, let's talk about mid ganks. Let's start with the most common one. Your mid laner is pushing and their mid laner is staying under tower. So the best way to channel your ultimate is through the enemy birds camp, and you will channel it right here, and you get, yeah, you should channel it a little bit at right because you will not get a tower damaged, and he will get probably killed. But let's talk about the moment they farm in the middle. So if they are farming and you want to gank, you just channel your ultimate through here. They will not see you. Let's say you come right here, they will not see you. He gets feared. Use your E and then W. Something like this. It's pretty hard to gank from here. It's better to gank from here because they usually have a word here, and if you're seen when you're channeling, even if they are not paying attention that you're there, you will not fear them with your R. You can do the same thing from this part, but I think it's better from the other part. Yeah, you cannot hit him from here. Now he's getting feared, but so he got fear. He didn't got fear, so yeah, you cannot channel it good from here. And the last part is when the enemy mid laner is pushing, your teammate is under tower. Yeah, let me do this again. So the enemy mid laner is pushing. Okay, if they are hitting the tower and your mid laner is not here, you should channel from here. But first let's talk about when they are pushing. When they're pushing, your only choice, I think, is through the bush, and do it like this. Yeah, you fear them and then just use your combo and kill them. Or another way, but this is a lot harder to pull because you have to be really careful to not be seen, is through here. Again, you fear them. He should have been feared, but because I just used my ability on him a few seconds ago, he didn't. Now let's say that the enemy mid laner and jungler are pushing with the minions. They are not getting hit by the tower, and you can channel your ultimate through here. You put it right here and just use your ability. Probably you will get somebody killed. So this is the ways you should gank mid. And let's talk about the last point that you should gank is bottom. Of course, the best places to get kills are at Drake and Baron, because they are like in a camp that usually has the circle of your ultimate, which will probably damage everybody who does the Drake. Next, so let's say that their bottom lane is under tower, your bottom is pushing, okay, and you should gank from here. Yeah, and you should signal them that you're coming, because you will probably go under tower a little bit, so they should notice you that you will gank. So you channel it like here. See, you get a little bit damaged, but you can channel it a little bit. Let's go back. See, you should channel it probably something like this. Yeah, I didn't get the second way is like they are farming on mid. Okay, so beside this part, like, which is one of the best, if you wait when your bottom is pushing, you stay here, and then you just channel your ultimate, and they will go feared, and probably you will kill them both. From here you can do the same thing, but it's a lot harder because this bush usually is usually is worded. So you ulti and you kill them again. The last moment is like when the bottom lane is pushing, your bottom is under tower. Okay, you channel it from here. Yeah, it's enough. At least one of them will get feared. You will move, and at least one of them dies. But think about if they are both here, it will happen the same. So this is all the ways that you should gank in the laning phase. After that, you should just find different ways that you are not seen and channel your ultimate in more enemies, the most enemies that you can. This is the most important thing that you have to do, to channel your ultimate in all the enemy champions. This is your target. Now that we talked about the Fiddlesticks abilities, the jungle path, and how to gank with him once you have your ultimate, let's talk about his build. So basically you have to start with Hunter's Talisman, and then you have two choices: or you play with refillable potion, or with a potion and a control word. I prefer the first one, but a lot of challenger players get the second one because of the control word. I don't know, like, I tried it, but if I do a mistake, this potion is not enough for me. So it depends on you. And then I proposed 3 builds. One for if in your team there is no tank, if you are the only AP champion in your team, and if you play against champions that have a lot of escapes. Okay, so let's talk about runes. For Fiddlesticks we should use Domination. In the Keystone part we have two choices, Electrocute or Dark Harvest. We will choose Electrocute, which is better in the early mid game, and Dark Harvest is better in the late game. But there is some problems with the Dark Harvest. There are games you have a lot of souls, games that you do not have a lot of souls, which is not good. And with Dark Harvest sometimes champions just escape because you don't have just a little bit extra damage which you have with Electrocute. So early game when Fiddlesticks is not that good, let's admit it, I think for me it's better to play with Electrocute, but you should play both of them and see which works better for you. So next we should go with Cheap Shot, more damage, and then Eyeball Collection, which gives you a little bit more ability power, Ultimate Hunter, which reduces a little bit your cooldown, and as a, let's say, a second part of your runes, you get Inspiration, because I usually get the perfect time, which gives you a stopwatch at 14 minutes, but you get 2 minutes down this cooldown for each takedown you participate in. And after that just Cosmic Insight, which reduces your cooldown a little bit more. And I get offense, flex and defense here. But so the only thing I think you should play with to see which is better for you is between Electrocute and Dark Harvest. This is my opinion. But if you have other opinions on this, please let me know in the comment section and we can debate about it. So let's start with the no tank team build. You should start with the Magic Penetration boots, just because until level 6 you are very squishy and it helps you to stay more alive, especially that you don't have any tanks, and you should get a lot of ganks, and this helps a lot. Then you finish your jungle Blue Smite ability power item. After that Proto Belt, Banshee, Zonia, and the last item it depends. Like you can get Rabadon or even Morello. It depends on you and the situation. Or maybe you need a more tanky one. In the case of the if you are the only AP champion in your team, you should start with boots or with the Blue Smite ability power item. It depends on the situation. I usually, if I have 1100 when I go first back, I buy the boots, but if not, I'm just gonna start building the jungle item. After that you buy Morello, yeah, for more magic penetration, because Fiddlesticks has a lot of damage even though you don't build a lot of ability power. So if you have more magic penetration, it helps you give more damage a lot easier. After that you just get Zonia or Proto Belt, it depends. If they have a few escapes champions, then you should get Proto Belt first, because you know Zonia is not the most important thing for Fiddlesticks. Of course, if they have a lot of crowd control, Zonia is the most important item for you. So maybe if they have a lot of crowd control, you should build Zonia third item, like after boots and the jungle item. Proto Belt is very good because it helps you move to the target after you ulti. Let's say you have to ulti for far behind, but with Flash and Proto Belt, or only Proto Belt, you can get to your target. And Rabadon just gives you more damage, so this is when you are the only AP champion in your team. And the build for against a lot of escape champions is to build Proto Belt as third item. You have to do it. After that, if they have a lot of escapes, maybe they can poke you a lot better, so then you can. Then Zonia is a good choice when you ulti. After that Morello, and after that Abyssal Mask. So it depends, but the most common, let's say, build that I use is this one. When I do Proto Belt, then Proto Belt, Zonia, Morello, and after that probably Rabadon or Abyssal Spectre. Yeah. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. We talked about a detail. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Și să suși pula, Hades, că nu știi să vorbești. So, I hope you enjoyed the video about jungle fiddlesticks. If you liked it, just smash that like button. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel and fuck this video. So this guy's gata, hai, lasă-mă. Vezi, de aia nu place să fie cineva în cameră când filmezi. Telefon să pleci. Am glumit, băi, am glumit. Hai că am glumit, no. This concludes the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And with this, we concluded the video. If you enjoyed this kind of video, please tell me in the comments section, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel, and do not forget that the next video will be about Fiddlesticks gameplay. So subscribe to the channel, and until next time, do not forget that League of Legends is a team game and not a single player one. See ya!